Welcome to Pigskin Platoon. So we're your hosts. I'm Boston.
And I'm Christian.
So we talk about it all. Dynasty offense and defense, who to start, who to sit. We also talk about trades, rumors, rookie drafts, and breaking news on players and coaches. Draft, deploy, dominate.
All right, so we got our dynasty list that we want to talk about. This is just a tier list that we created between the two of us. Um, we're just gonna kind of like go over some players, just to kind of keep an eye out for in each round. Most likely, if they're available, these are the kind of guys that we saw that have the potential and the high upside for 2026 season that's coming up as well. Um, with the new teams that some of these guys have or no don't have, we think that they're gonna pop off this year. So it's just looking kind of like an early before the draft starts our list right now. Uh, all right, Boston, do you want to kick it off or do you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll let you kick it off. What are we
Okay.
starting with? QBs?
Yep, we're gonna do well. So for the first round, I kind of want to do. I want to mix it up. I For Dynasty, you can go QB, but a lot of times, for you want to, get your foundation going. So yeah, QB would be a good one. It has to be like a top tier QB. Like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or like Drake May now, or Jalen Hurts possibly, like some of the more mobile quarterbacks that you want to look at,
Okay.
younger or solidified as well. So in my pick, I typically would go more receiver, maybe
hmm
even more of a running back in the first round. I typically like to hang out and wait and see how quarterbacks start picking up. If I see a quarterback that's going like a several people going for quarterbacks, then it's kind of like you have to kind of like change up the mentality of it, of course. Um, I think what I would go with for the first round is definitely someone that's going to be very reliable. That's going to give you a lot of points. It's going to be trusted. I know he just got a upgrade, huge upgrade in offense. But if I had the chance, I would have to go with Ashton Genty as a solidified running back that I feel like even though that he had his rookie year already out of the way, and we already saw what potential he can do with a bad O line. Now with a more upgraded O line, I feel like he's going to tear it up now. Uh,
Yeah.
he's definitely projected not as a top five running back at the moment, but I feel like getting towards the beginning of the season, a lot of people are going to be looking at him more because I'm almost betting that the Raiders are going to definitely get a offensive lineman in the draft. So yeah,
hmm
Ashton Genty is definitely my guy.
So like big thing with like Jetsy right now is like I think I read or heard a stat. He was like stuffed 21% of his runs at the line, which tells you how bad his offensive line was. And I think there's nothing going to be an upside. There's nothing but an upside for him now. Because I mean, if this is his floor, I mean that's still pretty good for a floor and no
Yeah,
offensive line. So
yeah, absolutely. And, he's not even he's only ranked at number 7. So the only guys that are above him, you have Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Jameer Gibbs, and Bijan Robinson. Obviously, we already know Bijan and Jameer Gibbs are like that's you're expecting those two guys to definitely be at the
mhm.
top. And then Christian McCaffrey, I do like McCaffrey last year. I was surprised. It's just so hard to, and a lot of people are going to say, it's injuries, and I agree. I'm very nervous when it comes to like injury prone players, but he actually kind of like showed up last year doing really well after his recoveries that he's gotten. And yeah, so like him projecting a number 3 is a right. It's a good spot for him. He's definitely going to be if someone maybe late round first, I would
Mhm.
say McCaffrey would probably go. I know a lot of people would like to take him a lot sooner. But just so everyone knows, when you get McCaffrey, you gotta take into consideration that you have to have a good backup to just in case replace him, just because of the the history that he has when it comes to injuries. And then Jonathan Taylor still putting up the points. You still got him as well. So like these guys that are above Genty, I feel like you know where he's positioned at, he's definitely gonna probably be up in the top five, if not the top three by the end of the season, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah. So I like Jonathan Taylor there because he's good. I think as long as um Jaden Daniels stays healthy, you'll see an absolute monster from this guy. So, or yeah, be an absolute monster.
So uh, you're saying you would go with
Jonathan
him on
Taylor.
the and Jonathan Taylor?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, is that who you're wanting to go with in the first round?
Man, for me, first round, I kind of agree. I definitely agree with you on picking up Genty is my go-to guy for that one, just based on that. First round, that Hampton might be another really solid guy, or even I'm leaning on a little bit of Javante Williams. I don't know if he'll be a first round guy, but
Yeah, I mean Javante Williams, he's still so young. He's only 25 years old. He's definitely been very good in the last 2 years. Well, even the last three
last
years,
year.
he did really well. I know last year he lit it up the field, being with the Cowboys. Putting up a career total, or I'm sorry, for last year he had in total 275 points. That's actually really good, and playing in 16 games, that's actually a
Hmm.
really like it's a good structured running back that you can have, that you can trust, that can give you the points and stay healthy on the field. I know his injury in the past when he was on the Broncos, with you guys, but ever since he got to the Cowboys, he's been doing a lot better. No, no offense to you guys though, but I think he's been doing really good with the with
Hmm.
the Cowboys.
It's good to see him go somewhere else and actually do pretty good. A little bit of a bummer on my side, but you know what? Good for him, man.
Yeah. Who do you got? Who else do you have that you're wanting to go for in the first round, possibly second round?
First round, possibly second round. I I want me personally, I want Omari and Hampton. I think he's going to be absolutely great. He did super good this year. I think we're only going to see more out of him come next year.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and especially with the head coach, Mike McDaniel coming from the Dolphins, and he did so well with Devon Achan, and like
Hmm.
arguably so, Amari and Hampton definitely should be in the first 1 to 2 rounds.
For
I
sure.
would be shocked if he fell past that. Um, if he got to the third round and I'm sitting there, I'm definitely taking him. It's just
Hmm.
there's no questions asked about that one. But yeah, no, Omari and Hampton definitely in a good position, definitely good coach around him, and definitely a good team that he got drafted to. I
Hmm.
think he'll definitely have a breakout season this year for sure. Um, Another guy that I put as a sleeper, but I know for a fact he's probably going to go within the first 3 rounds. That's Travion Henderson,
Hmm.
another running back out of the Patriots. Travion Henderson was one of my favorites coming out of rookie year. I loved his college tape. He was like a beast. I mean, an absolute beast. And with Henderson now I feel like the the role that he has now, I think he's kind of like more solidified as being the workhorse. I know
Hmm.
Ramondre Stevenson's there, um, but I think he's going to probably take over that spot this year. I genuinely think that he will be like probably top 10 running back this year.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
It was definitely interesting seeing Ramondre now have more competition in that running back room. All of a sudden, just start tearing it up or start
Yeah.
putting
Yeah,
up
and he
volume.
even like last year he even tried his like I mean he was definitely trying to make sure he stayed on top over
Hmm.
Henderson. But I think, I think Henderson's got this. He's got the
I do too.
bag on this one. I think this is going to be his year where they're gonna trust more in those third down backs, and it's gonna be him pushing through those lines.
Hmm.
And even if he gets outside the pocket too, he is
Yeah.
really good outside the pocket, running outside on those sidelines.
Hmm.
Yeah. Who do you have possibly like sleeper, but like round like the fourth or fifth round, or I
Ooh,
guess
so
third maybe.
hmm third round. But I would say probably either Travis Etienne Jr. or even Quinshon Judkins. I could see going there. I think from what limited amount of time Judkins played, I think if anybody picks him up in a later round, they're going to have a really solid running back sitting there. If he drops low, and I think ETN, new offense, new scheme, he should. I think he should tear. I think he should produce just as much as he did this year, if not more, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% agree. And then who was your other running back?
Oh, got Canine, got Kenneth Walker. I think the Chiefs are going to absolutely rely on him and lean on him as much as possible because we watched Patrick Mahomes last year his run for his life a lot of the time. And I think now they got a reliable running back in the backfield and they got their old coaching staff back. They're going to really see some pretty big strides out of him. I think he'll do better this year than he did last year for sure.
Yeah, and with Kenneth Walker, uh he had a split backfield with Zach Charbonnet, and Zach Charbonnet was just taking up all of his touchdowns in my opinion. But
Hmm.
it was true though. But Kenneth Walker finally has that like RB1 situation with the Kansas City Chiefs. Uh, Goes from one, top team to another top team, and I think they're definitely going to try and protect him as much as possible. I still worry about a little bit of the injury
Yeah.
possibilities. So like in my opinion, uh, I would look at him as like an RB2 or a flex RB2,
Yeah.
like a switch around if you have to.
Hmm.
I He's very explosive when he's healthy. I mean, he's very very good when he's healthy. It's just when he's healthy. It's kind of
When he's
like the
healthy.
whole McCaffrey situation and mentality of mine, where when he's out there on the field, he's good. He's really
Yeah.
good. Um, So another guy I actually am looking at sleeper when it comes to running backs as
Hmm.
well and he's playing for the Chargers as well as Keaton Mitchell. I I I definitely love this guy. He uh, goes from Baltimore where he was sitting behind Derrick Henry. He had a bit of a injury problem in college and then rookie year, but he's so young. He's going to be behind Omari and Hampton. I get it. But if you can get him fifth, maybe sixth round, that would be a really good sleeper. Because I think
Hmm.
with Mike McDaniel and Devon Achane, if you think about that scenario, Devon Achan's super fast, and so they drew up plays for Devon Achane. So I think with Keaton Mitchell is gonna he's like fast, if not just as fast as Achan is. So
Hmm.
when they put out those out routes, I feel like that's going to be the Mitchell runs, and then you'll see Omarion kind of like doing the Ramondre Stevenson and Trayvon Henderson situation and with the Patriots, where Omarion Hampton's going to be the Henderson situation, where he's going to be the one that's going to be your third down back, your goal line push, and Mitchell's going to be your long stretches when it comes to the run
Hmm.
plays. So who do you have? Who else do you have in your top list, or you think that they might fall to another round,
Um, to be honest with you, that's about all I got on the running backs.
or any position,
Any position. I think a guy that's going to fall late that I think is going to have a really good upside this year is going to be Michael Pittman Jr. Because I think sitting there in Pittsburgh, where DK Metcalf is going to be the primary person looked at to cover, you're going to see Michael Pittman kind of get out there, get some yards, and get open and get those receptions from him. I think he's going to do really good this year. I, nothing but upside, I would say.
yeah, he's kind of slept on, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman did really good with the Colts, and I
Mm-hmm.
think now without Alec Pierce there, and with the situation with DK, uh, whoever the quarterback is going to have, they're going to be targeting Michael Penix, or no, I'm sorry, not Michael Pittman,
Mm-hmm.
and um, they're gonna they're gonna utilize him very well because he's more of like a slot receiver, and DK's your deep threat. So I think that's where a lot of this league is going towards more. It seems like there's a lot more of these slot receivers that get targeted,
Mm-hmm.
get peppered all over the field. And yeah, Michael Pittman, excuse me, is going to be a good sleeper, if not a good pickup early on in the draft.
Yeah.
I got so if if it lands right, another couple guys that I would like to mention. Um, I know JSN is a really good structured receiver, young, talented, um, one of the best in my opinion, as well, and a lot of others. Uh, I think still, even after his crazy year that he had last year, I think he's still going to continue to be a top dog receiver, just like Puka
Mm-hmm.
Nacua or um, Justin Jefferson, a couple years ago. And I think JSN will definitely 100% go in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
There's no questions there. I know another guy, uh, talking more about receivers, Justin Jefferson, now having a more solidified QB.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna get the more production that he deserves and he needs to be a great receiver. And he's right now perfect in his prime right now. He's only 26, and he's he's so good. He's so talented, and there's so much that he still has to offer. And I think he's definitely going to elevate Kyler Murray and that that Vikings offense as well. So yeah, I think Justin Jefferson will probably be, hate to say it, he deserves to be in the top five when it comes to first round picks, but I think he'll be probably in the back half of the first, maybe the second, mid second. And another guy that I think jumped up a lot is Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle also, with now working with Bo Nix, finally Bo Nix is going to be elevated. Definitely going to be in the top 1 to 2, maybe 3 rounds of a QB to pick, and Waddle as well. I think that duo is going to be a really good one to watch for,
Mm-hmm.
as well. So those are my receivers. I also have one more receiver and a tight end, but my other receiver that I would like to say is Malik Neighbors. Yes, He tore his ACL, but at the same time, if he can get back to his first year, he's gonna be an uh, insane receiver. He's gonna give you a lot of
Hmm.
points. Without a doubt, he will give you the points that you need. Um, and now working with Jackson Dart, I'm hoping that with him and Jackson Dart, they build that connection. I think that's going to be probably his best quarterback that he's probably going to have at the helm. And then I got my sleeper tight end that I like is Harold Fannin. I like Harold Fannin. Pretty underrated right now. I know a lot of people still talk about him, but I think he is finally going to have his breakout season this year since David Njoku is gone. I think that the Browns are going to, they're going to pass a lot with, and what I'm hearing is Shador Sanders might actually be the number one starter over Deshaun Watson. It's what I've been hearing. So we'll see what happens there.
It'll be interesting. Hopefully he lives up to the hype that he came out of college with, and he does good. And it wasn't kind of a fluky thing for him in college. So I'm excited to see what he does there in Cleveland, and hopefully he'll elevate that team. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. You know, every year we look at the Browns and like, oh my gosh, here comes another situation, where it's
Hmm.
going to keep dragging them down. But, this year is going to be really interesting with a lot of these underdog teams. We got the
Hmm.
Jets that are making moves. We got the Raiders making big moves. Got the Browns making some moves. Um, Dolphins, we don't know yet still. We don't know what the trajectory is going with them. I guess after the draft we'll kind of have a bigger picture what the Dolphins
Hmm.
are planning on doing. I know for sure that's a rebuild team and they're showing it. They're showing their cards right
Definitely.
there. Um so who now getting to the part where we're talking about defense players. This is the part that we want to make sure that we kind of like separate ourselves from others and talk about defense for dynasty. And honestly, when you put defense players, not just a defense in total, but when you put in those players, it's so much fun, guys. It is so much fun to play around and put in different defensive players. You know, it, people that are like either borderline obsessed with football or just truly love the sport itself, like would love to do these kind of dynasties. And I think putting in defense positions makes it even more fun and more of a guessing and going, who are we going to start? Who are we going to sit? Who's the sleepers? So,
Hmm.
who's your defensive players that you think are going to go in the top picks in each round, and then your sleepers?
Oh man, so top picks in each round for this. Um, so I got a guy that I realized. So just as a I've new to drafting defenses, so I've done a lot of like ESPN fantasy football, where it's just all you draft is offense for the year and everything else. So this is new, but some guy that I really think is going to have a lot of upside here is going to be Nick Benito. I think he's going to continue to tear it up. I think we got to see a lot out of him 2 years ago, and he did even better this or last year, and I think it's only going to be up from here for him. He's gonna have he's gonna absolutely yeah, he's gonna do good.
Yeah. No, and Nick Benito is arguably one of the best out there right now. And if you can get him
I don't know,
fourth or
first
fifth
round would be yeah. Hmm.
because you wanna target your offensive players, and we've talked about it before, in our first episode. The the idea is defense comes in at the back, but don't think that like you have to snatch those defensive players because these defensive players are not going to be your gold winners like offense does normally, but
Hmm.
your defense is another backside of getting you your points. And a lot of them are going to be your linebackers or the ones that are like split D lines or linebackers itself. Unless you're like you got like the top five,
Yeah.
arguably top five defensive backs, then
So
like
more
you'll
guys like
you'll go ahead.
your Micah Parsons, your TJ Watt, or your TJ Watts kind of guys.
Hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. And then you got your uh Kyle Hamiltons or you know soon to come on the same team as Malachi Starks. Like these
Hmm.
guys uh are they're going to be the ones that are going to be putting up those consistent points for you, or Trent McDuffie, or I mean, well, I guess Trent McDuffie's kind of like a hit or miss sometimes. So,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing when it comes to Devon Witherspoon too. Like he's such a good corner, but a lot of people don't want to target his way. So you got to think of more of like safeties wise.
Yeah.
I know there's some corners that are out there that are pretty good sleepers, but um, like um, well, for an example, McDuffie, I mean, he's kind of one of those pretty consistent people. A lot of times will target him, but then you got Pat Surtain, where Pat Surtain is he's not targeted as much because no one wants to throw it his way. So
Hmm.
that's what you get when you get like top names. You just
Yeah.
got to know what you're getting into with those. So other than Nick Benito, who do you have as well that you're looking at? I mean, not that I what you want to steal from, but
Hmm. I think Travis Hunter might be another really good one if we can get him a full season out this year and see let him strive a little more because I'm under the impression he's going to be focusing a lot more on the defensive side of things, not so much on the offense as a wide receiver,
Mhm.
more as your DB. Um, I think he's going to do good next year. And we got Tremaine Edmonds. He's been traded to another team, but he's been pretty consistent throughout his years that he's played. So I'm excited to see what he does and see if he continues with his upside there. And then just seeing Travis Hunter continue. Um, Another guy. He's another Broncos guy. Talanoa Hufanga. I think if anybody gets him on that team on the team, like he's on every play. Just looking at his total tackles this year and everything else, he's on the ball quite often.
Yeah. Yeah, Ufanga, ever since he got to the Broncos, he's been pretty pretty healthy, honestly, and he definitely did really good this last year with you guys. And still, I mean, he's on my list as well. So like Ufunga is one of those guys that you can rely on to get you points, but don't rely on him like a hundred
Hmm.
percent. Um, you gotta think of injuries, but more or less, don't go gun ho on getting defense players early because
Yeah.
then you might miss out on some sleepers on offense, which then could
Hmm.
kind of like bite you in the end. Um, I got, I do have this guy, he's one of my sleepers, as Trayvon Morig.
Hmm.
He's the corner slash safety over there in Carolina. I honestly, I really like him as a sleeper. He's one of those guys that you can probably get maybe in the 13th round if you're doing a full dynasty. Um, he he's pretty consistent uh with like the history that I saw of his. He's, honestly, he stays about 250 to like almost 300 points at the
Hmm.
end of each year that he's played for, and he's only 26, so you got a good handful of years still left with him, about 4 or 5 more years. So you can have him, and then later on, if he's still doing good, you can use him as a trade uh, package. Another guy that I really think is going to be a monster this year, he's going to stay on that trajectory, is Will Anderson. Um, Will Anderson still is one of my favorites each year so far. He, him, what was it? Him, Micah Parsons, and um, Nick Benito were actually one of like they were all um, top three
Hmm.
when it comes to points. They they're so consistent with how much that they put up each game. Um, so that's where I do like Will Anderson. He's definitely one of those you want to get in, earlier late round picks.
Yeah.
Anything past like maybe eight. Eight is kind of like where I don't know, it's where you start getting defensive players.
Hmm.
Couple little quick shout outs as well that I think are going to do good. Carson Swearinger had a rookie of the year. I think he's going to still do even better once he comes back from
Hmm.
that injury. Another good sleeper that no one talks about a whole lot is Jordan Brooks from the Dolphins. I think he's so consistent each year. Um, uh, Aiden Hutchinson, another one. D line, it's a hit or a miss with those guys, but I think he's still another top elite uh, edge rushers that you want to have.
Yeah.
And one of my last two guys, I got Abdul Carter as one of my sleepers as well. Abdul Carter, I think he's going to have his breakout year this year. I hope, but he's got a lot of big names that are around him, so I'm hoping that he doesn't get thrown under the rug again like he did last year. And then Quay Walker coming from the Packers to the Raiders now and being one of the top or number one linebackers on that team. I think Quay Walker is going to finally have his big year with the Raiders.
I think one guy I'm excited about is, like you said, is Abdul Carter, because I mean, look at the defenses that John Harbaugh has had like his whole career. I mean, they're not going to do any different. They're just going to be an absolute monster. So it's going to be really good to see Abdul Carter come out and be better this year. I would have to say.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do like his tape. A lot of times, a lot of people looked at him as like the next Micah Parsons coming out of that draft. So I'm hoping this year will be his breakout year.
Yeah.
That's it from us today. Pigskin Platoon, where football lives.
And hot takes fly like bad trades.
Two voices, one game.
We'll catch you on the next snap.
Thank you for watching and smash that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you can catch all of the updates on all football from us. And comment down below and let us know how we did and where we can do better at. We appreciate it and have a good one.